Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. 2 years ago, I stepped out of my comfort zone, tried something new, and released my first ever edited video for Red Dead Online, and my second edited video ever, examining the best horses in the game. And I'm not really sure why I did it, to be honest. I think it's because I'm so passionate about this game, and I wanted to share my experiences with people just starting out. Just to give a little backstory, at that point I've been playing with a group of friends for about a year, but their interest had really begun to wane regarding Red Dead, and mine hadn't. I thought maybe doing this video I could meet some more like-minded people who loved the horses and the world. And little did I know that it would be fairly well received and would send me on this incredible 2-year journey and introduce me to some amazing friends. Why do I tell you this? Well, it was my first video ever, and it was 2 years ago. And what I'd like to do is revisit it just to see if my answers still hold up or if my opinion has changed. If you're looking for a video to tell you what horse is the best stats in the game so that you can use that one because it's the best, this really isn't it. If you want the best stats, just go with a Turkmen, Missouri Foxtrotter, Arabian, or perhaps even a Norfolk Roadster due to the maxed out speed, and you'll be good to go. For everyone else, let's take a closer look at the horses in Red Dead Online. One of the first things I talked about in the old video is whether or not the stats of the horses actually matter, and my opinion on this hasn't changed. Now, the horse stats in story do make more of a difference, but I'm going to talk specifically about online, because online there really isn't that much difference between a high stat horse and a low stat one. For example, all horses online are about the same speed. I know that this is somewhat controversial, and someone in the comments is going to tell me I'm wrong and that the low speed horses are slow and can't keep up. But if you play the game for any length of time, you know this isn't true. I tested it extensively. If you ride with a posse, you know it's not true. If you do events in the game, you know it's not true. When riding in a posse, the Shire keeps up with the Foxtrotter. When hunting down a player bounty, the Tennessee Walker outruns the Arabian. It's not supposed to be that way, but something must have happened to the horses online and they just got a little screwed up. And the speed, honestly, it's negligible. It doesn't really matter that much. Also, lower stamina or health horses can be given a boost with saddles, stirrups, and ability cards. Meaning, a horse with low stamina, you can pretty much get unlimited stamina simply by the cosmetics that you choose to equip. Or a low health horse won't go down at all if you equip an ability card like Ride Like the Wind. This is really good news because it means that you can choose any horse you like based on looks, and you don't have to worry about whether or not you're going to fall behind because you're not using the one with the best stats. Now, if you want to buy and ride the horse with the best stats in the game, go for it. But if you like that Silver Bay Kentucky Saddler and someone's telling you not to buy it because it has low stats, just get it. Invest in a good saddle and an upgraded stirrup, and I promise you're not going to notice much difference in gameplay. I mean, what do you guys think? Do you feel that there's a huge difference between the top stat and the lower stat horses? Let me know in the comment section. The next thing I talked about in the video was horse bravery, and this is a hugely controversial subject with opinions on both sides that even today people still argue about whether or not bravery exists. For the record, I do not believe there is actually a bravery stat in the code. People who know code, who know how to look it up, they've looked at the coding in the game and it isn't there. It doesn't show up. You can find old posts from Rockstar that does show courage used to be a stat for the horses, but they did remove it. And whether or not that's cut content, they didn't have time for, or they just couldn't get it to work out, I'm not sure. However, that doesn't mean that I don't think that horses act differently, because I do. Now, there are certainly factors in the game that do influence your horses, such as bonding level, cleanliness, weight, for example. And it also depends on how close a predator is, if you're calming your horse, so on and so forth. But those of us who have played for an extensive amount of time can tell you that sometimes your horse, you get one that is just a pain in the tuchus, all right? They can be level 4 bond, clean and fit. You can do everything you normally do around gunfire and predators, moving away, calming, keeping your distance, and they still dump you and run at the slightest thing. Why is this? Honestly, I don't know. I think it's just a bug in the game. Bad RNG, whatever you want to call it. I'd compare it to the 10th stall stable bug. Some people get it, some people don't. I've purchased a horse, gotten it to level 4 bond, perfect condition, weight, cleanliness, and the horse just straight up dumps me at the slightest thing all the time. All the time. Or it trips over his feet all the time. Now, some people would say that's all in your head. I don't think so, though. Like, I've been on the horses a lot. Again, hundreds of horses I've owned, 5,000 plus hours in the game. I don't think it's just in your head. I just think it's a bug. Like, I think it's, somewhat of a buggy game, and I think it's a bug that you get. And so I don't know what to tell you. I know it's not supposed to be a thing, although bravery should be a thing. Like, war horses should be braver than race horses, but we all know that's not true. Generally speaking, the horses do all behave about the same, when they're normal. All right. But sometimes you just get the asshole bug, right? And your horse is a skittish nightmare, or it trips over every rock, or any number of bad behaviors that are different from your other horses. And the only thing I can recommend that's worked for me is try discarding that horse and repurchasing, just like you would have to do that with the 10th stall stable bug. You never know. It might just make a difference. Maybe it's in our heads. Who cares? It's a video game. So whether or not it's in our heads and not really a thing, if discarding and purchasing another horse that's exactly the same breed, coat, makes a difference and the horse suddenly works and is better, then yeah, go for it. That's what I say. Whether or not it's actually a thing in the game. The next part of the video showcased what I consider to be 7 of the best top tier horses, and I still agree with that list. You can't go wrong with a Turkoman, Mustang, Arabian, Breton, Clodruber. I know, John, I know you don't like the nose, but they're good horses. Missouri Foxtrotter or Norfolk Roadster. And I will say the Missouri Foxtrotter seems to be the fan favorite if the old video is anything to go by, since that is the most rewatched part of the video is of that horse. But you also can't go wrong with the Shire, Appaloosa, Paint, Thoroughbred, Dutch Warm Blood, or Morgan either. One of my best horses ever was a Bay Morgan, and that horse is a little cutie too. A little bit small, but that's beside the point. Maybe not for male characters. If you want to see a more detailed description of the 7 top tier horses, I'll link that video and the best non-meta horse video in the description below so you can check them out. I go in a little bit more detail. I try to show all the different coats. So if you're looking to add a horse to your stables and you want to see them like out of this stable, definitely check that out. What I'd like to do now is just take the time to show off some of my favorite horses currently in the game. And I'm going to start with the Norfolk Roadster, which is hands down my favorite breed. Since they put it in the game, it's been my favorite. I just can't imagine something else topping it. It is the Moonshiner horse, so you do need to have that roll in order to purchase it. But there's 6 coat variants: black and speckled gray at rank 1 Moonshiner, rose gray and piebald roan at rank 10, and what I consider to be some of the prettiest coats in the game in my opinion, the dappled buckskin and the tricolor at rank 20. To me, this horse is absolutely perfect. It has a nice fluid movement. It's a great size, thick neck, strong legs, giving it a very attractive body appearance. And I really like the way they handle. Aragon, my dappled buckskin roadster, has been in my stable since the Moonshine roll released, and he's always going to be there. And if you know me, I tend to discard and purchase horses just because I love them all, and at different times I want to have different horses in there so that I can ride, whether it's a different coat or a different breed. But Aragon's not going anywhere. He's my absolute favorite. The only thing about the Roadsters is the health is a little bit low compared to other horses, in particular the roll horses, who tend to have very high health. But I don't even really notice it. The only thing I'll do is I'll put the ability card Ride Like the Wind on when I'm bonding with my rank 1 and rank 10. But other than that, I don't really notice it. It's not a problem. It's certainly not a problem with the rank 20 Roadsters for sure. Another one of my current favorite horses is my brown leopard Appaloosa Belladonna. She's been in my stables for quite some time, and I've had her on both my main and secondary accounts, mostly because I love her in different hairstyles. So on my secondary account, I've had her the longest, but I don't have the Outlaw Pass mane and tail that looks absolutely gorgeous on her. I'll have that on my main account. So on my secondary account, I typically keep her in braids, whether that's a braided mane and tail, or a lot of times I'll go like just a braided mane and a loose tail, or vice versa. Not only is she an absolute beauty, but she does amazingly well around predators and gunfire. Oftentimes when I'm in a gunfight, she'll just run in like the bullets aren't even there just to pick me up. And I know she's always going to be a really steady, solid choice no matter what activity I'm participating in the game. Moose is my Palomino Gypsy Cob, and again, he's just one of those horses that doesn't leave my stables. Not only is his coat super pretty, but he's a fairly unique horse because I don't really see many people using him in the game. Small and chonky, Moose is very sure-footed over uneven terrain, and again is solid in multiple different scenarios. I tend to go from collecting to a gun battle to facing down a legendary animal, so my favorite horses tend to be the ones that do really well in a variety of activities. The natural Gypsy Cob manes and tails are thick and flowy, and the feathers on the feet really add to this horse's appeal. Another breed that's a really good size for both male and female characters is the American Standardbred, and I currently have two that don't leave my stables. Willow is my Palomino Dapple, and Maverick is my black American Standardbred. If you're looking for a solid black horse, this is one of two that you can currently get in the game that has 0 white on it, and it is absolutely gorgeous. That coat shines, especially when it's raining. I love the Standardbred for its size, movement, and consistency. Like the Roadster, they have a really nice gait, especially when trotting, and despite their racehorse classification, I do find the Standardbreds tend to be really calm and even-tempered, calming quickly when spooked. Okay, so honestly, you guys know me. I could go on and on and on and on and on about the horses. With the right mane, tail, saddle combination, any horse in this game can be absolutely gorgeous. I've owned at least one of every breed that I haven't wanted to part with. I've got 2 Bretons right now that I'm absolutely in love with, a Shire and a Foxtrotter that I don't want to let go, and a Clodruber that I now consider to be one of my best looking horses, despite the fact that I hated the all white when I first got him. My point is, the horses are more than just a means of transportation in this game, and it's okay to fall in love with them. I know it's just a video game, but there's something so soothing and cathartic about just getting on your best pony and riding into the sunset. I mean, let's face it, life is stressful, and this can just be a way to relax and let all that go. Who cares what people say is the best horse? If you love your horse, that is absolutely all that matters, and you can't go wrong. From the cheapest, lowest stat horse to the most expensive, highest stat, each breed can bring something fun and special when it comes to coats, looks, and movement. Try experimenting with different manes, tails, and saddles, as I do find it makes a huge difference in how the horse looks. And a horse I might previously have been on the fence about will suddenly become my favorite just because I found the right combination of cosmetics for it. I'll end with one of my favorite OG horses, my Black Arabian Shadow. It took me so long to get the gold to purchase this horse. This was before rolls, daily challenges, so I really had to grind a lot, but it was worth it. The Arabians are so spunky and fun to ride. You can see the spirit of these horses with their high-set tails and plucky gait, and I find them to be incredibly agile, and I especially love using Shadow in modes like Sport of Kings, which require some maneuverability around the map. So yeah, Shadow is always going to have a place in my stalls for sure, and I know a lot of people don't like the Arabians, but I absolutely love them, and I get it. If you have a male character, it's probably they're pretty small. Like, I don't like to use them with Arthur either, so I get it. But if you have a female character, like, give them a try for sure. They're really fun to ride. I want to thank each and every one of you who has supported me on this journey. You guys have been absolutely amazing, and I hope we can continue to support each other and share our love of gaming. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.